أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا المبعوث رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أرواحنا لتراب مقدمه الفداء. السلام عليكم أيها الإخوة المؤمنون وأيتها الأخوات المؤمنات جميعا ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أوصيكم عباد الله وأوصي نفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل والورع عن محارمه. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد. Once again, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity to be here today so that we can remind each other on taqwa, on how to improve on our iman, on how to raise our standards of taqwa. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless our gathering and that we'll be able to leave this place better than we came to it. And that may we acquire something from this gathering that will enhance our faith and will improve on our iman. I would like to continue with my discussion on few lines of Dua Makarimul Akhlaq. This great dua that was taught to us by our fourth Imam, Al-Imam Al-Sajjad salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. And I began this sermon with verses of Surah Al-Shams, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points to a very important issue that we must pay attention to. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, by the nafs and how it has been made, how it has been created, and says that every nafs, every soul is endowed with the potential of being good or bad. وَنَفْسُ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught to us everything that is good and everything that is bad. And we have the potential to be anything of this. We can go in the line of fujur, we can go in the line of taqwa. And he says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Indeed, he is successful, the one who strives to purify his soul, to improve upon his soul. Tazkiyah is to remove anything that is dirt, anything that is a shortcoming, to make it go further, to make it grow. That is zakat. The zakat is growth. So Tazkiyattu Nafs is to enhance it, is to improve on it, is to correct it. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. He is in a loss, the one who neglects their soul, the one who leaves it without paying attention to it, without trying to enhance its potentialities and its capabilities. It is important that therefore we seek all means that can help us improve on our akhlaq, on our nafs, to enhance the levels of our iman. And this is the struggle that we must engage in. So I chose to discuss a little bit about Dua Makarimul Akhlaq because in it we find great lessons that appeal to our own well-being and can help us improve on our akhlaq and our tazkiyah in this journey of purifying our souls. Imam alayhi salam, in the beginning of this dua, says several lines which I'll skip because of the time and go to the lines that are related to what I'm going to discuss today. So he says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alih waqfini ma yashghaluni al-ihtimamu bih. Again, a quick translation is that, oh Allah, take care of that bothers me, that concerns me. Take care of it so that I can carry out the most important obligations. So I'm not really occupied by things that will stop me from paying attention to what is important, to what you have cared me for. وَاسْتَعْمِلْنِي بِمَا تَسْأَلُنِي غَدًا عَنُ. So employ me in that which you are going to ask me about tomorrow. Tomorrow, after my life ends in this world, you are going to ask me about certain things. So, oh Allah, give me tawfiq. Make me pay attention to this that you are going to ask me about, and not about things that are not important, things that you are not going to ask me about, things that are not going to make any difference in the hereafter, or they will be a means of ruin in the hereafter. وَاسْتَعِنْ بِمَا تَسْأَلُنِي غَدًا عَنْ وَاسْتَفْرِغْ أَيَّامِ فِيمَا خَلَقْتَنِي لَهُ. Let my days be spent in that which you have created me for. So I don't waste my life in things that you have not created me for it. There's a purpose, there's a goal for this life. So let my life, let all my days and my hours be spent in that line, for in what you have created me for. وَأَغْنِنِي وَأَوْسِعْ عَلَيَّ فِي رِزْقِكَ. I'm just wrapping up quickly on what we had already discussed. So, and he says, وَأَغْنِنِي, and give me the wealth, make me rich. And I mentioned that the richness, the true richness, is the richness of the soul. وَأَوْسِعْ عَلَيَّ فِي رِزْقِكَ, and expand my means of sustenance. That my sustenance is enough to my needs. And in some commentaries, they mention the difference between wasi' and awsi'. So awsi', just give me enough that I require, I need. And sometimes we seek things that we don't need, we don't require them. Okay? Imam alayhi salam saying, wa awsi'. So give me what is sufficient to my needs. So I do not require anything from anyone else. Min rizqi rizqik, the rizq comes from you. So, oh Allah, from your rizq, suffice me. وَلَا تَفْتِنِّ بِنَظَرٍ. At the same time, I ask you, oh Allah, that I be grateful. So do not afflict me with not being grateful to your blessing, to the ni'am that you have blessed me with. So at the same time, you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for ghina, for rizq. Pay attention that you should not be distracted from thanking the one who has provided you with all these things. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَعِزَّنِي وَلَا تَبْتَلِيَنِي بِالْكِبْرِ. See here from this we want to expound a little bit further. وَأَعِزَّنِي إِنَّمَا الْعِزَّةُ لِلَّهِ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Al-Izzah is the respect. Al-Izzah is the honor that belongs to a mu'min. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared in the whole Quran that the honor, the respect, azama, belongs to him and to the messenger and to those who have faith. So al-mu'min aziz, a mu'min, a believer, is respected, is honored, has got value in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's not someone to be humiliated. There's no humiliation to a mu'min. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has raised his status. And a mu'min is supposed to be aziz, therefore. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, addressed the enemies, those ignorant people who were blinded by the world on the plains of Karbala, telling them, أَلَا إِنَّ الدَّعِيَّ ابْنَ الدَّعِيَّ قَدْ رَكَّزَ بَيْنَ اثْنَتَيْنِ. So he has made me to choose between two things. بَيْنَ سِلَّةِ وَذِلَّةِ, to choose between sword and humiliation. وَيَأْبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا ذَلِكَ هَيْهَاتَ مِنَّ ذِلَّةِ. We cannot accept humiliation. يَأْبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا ذَلِكَ. Allah does not accept it from us to humiliate ourselves, to lower ourselves by accepting someone who is going against the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allahu lana dhalik wa rasuluhu wal mu'minun, to the end of it. This is izzah, that a person maintain his dignity, his integrity in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dua for two things. So he's saying, وَأَعِزَّنِي, make me honored, be respected, that I maintain my dignity, I'm not humiliated. But at the same time, وَلَا تَبْتَلِيَنِي بِالْكِبْرِ, do not afflict me with this other trait, and that is al-kibr. Al-kibr is the pride. That do not make me feel that I'm better than others, that I am above others. Okay, to have this feeling of pride. You know what it is? Okay, al-kibr. Because this is a trait that leads to the destruction of a human being, destroys him. As it destroyed Iblis, alayhi la'inullah, when he felt that he was better than Adam alayhi salam. You created from clay and you created me from fire. How can I prostrate in front of him? Al-kibr. Okay? When a person develops self-admiration and feels that he is better than others, he is practicing al-kibr. So it is very possible that while a person is asking for izzah, for respect and honor, he could end up with kibr. And there could be a confusion between izzah and kibr sometimes. In some instances, a person may think that he is practicing al-izzah, but then in the reality, he's doing al-kibr. And there are examples. When a person does not accept the truth, he is actually arrogant. It's not that he is honorable. He has that respect in himself. Sometimes we are forced to acknowledge the truth from people who are lower than us in status, in knowledge sometimes. Okay, they point out something, but if a person has not purified himself well, he will not accept it from him. Just because it has come from the student or it has become from a layman, because this idea is will bring him down from his status and all that. So he cannot be accepted to be corrected. So that is not izzah, that is kibr. And sometimes one may be required to seek certain things from believers or from other people. Seek support, for example. Out of the pride, one will not accept it. That is not izzah. Izzah in the true sense is to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to follow His commands, to follow His instructions, to be a true believer by implementing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you. That you are abdun lillah, you are a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you humiliate yourself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you lower yourself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you accept the truth from wherever it comes. That is izzah. So ata'a lillah, the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what gives a person the true izzah. Not that he becomes arrogant and proud, and that he raises himself over others. That is a distraction. That is a path of shaitan that one should refrain from. So Imam is saying, I seek to be respected, to be dignified, but at the same time, oh Allah, do not make it enter into my heart the kibr. So the kibr is this feeling. But when it comes out into practical sense, now he starts showing himself that he is better than others. Practically, then that is takabbur. So there's kibr and takabbur. Sometimes a person might be proud, but he doesn't show it out. Imam is addressing it from the level of the soul, from the self, from inside, even not showing it out. Just from within, not to feel anything of kibr. Because anybody who develops any slight level of kibr, he's thrown out of the kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with a slight feeling of kibr. So a person needs to pay attention to that, and that he always feels he's a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In a dua he says, Allahumma aghnini bil iftiqar ilayk, wa la tafkurni bil istighna ank. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give me the richness, the izzah, by maintaining my needness to you, that I am in need of you. And do not make me poor by making me feel that I'm independent from you. In one of the most beautiful sayings from Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, he says, Ilahi kafa bi izzan. Oh Allah, it's enough for me that this respect, this level is enough. The izzah is enough. This izzah is enough for me. And akuna laka abdan, that I am your servant, is enough izzah for me. I am your slave, that is izzah for me. Kafa bi izzan, is enough for me to have this respect. And akuna laka abdan, that I be your servant. Wa kafa bi fakhran, is enough for me to feel some pride in me, and takuna li rabba, that you are my Lord. So if anything calls for pride, is that you have a Lord who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anything calls for izzah, it's because you are a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is from Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Therefore, this is what we seek. And this is the lesson that we learn from this dua, this line that Imam alayhi salam teaches us from dua Makarimul Akhlaq. Then he goes on saying, just going a bit fast, he says, wa'abidni. So he's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he makes him to be his true slave. Wa'abidni wala tabtaliyani wala tufsid ibadati bil ujub. This is another line. And that, oh Allah, make me to be a true slave. A person may ask, all of us are the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why Imam is saying that wa'abidni? We are all at the end, his creation, we are all his slaves and servants. But the answer is this, that we are slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by creation. But we have been tested whether we will submit ourselves in our own world to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and accept to be his slaves, to his servants or not. So to be slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is for us to humble ourselves in humility and accept that we are nothing but the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam is saying, wa'abidni. So cause me to be your true servant, your true slave. To accept you as my master. And this is something that has a speciality in it. There's a connection in it. Like you become close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that sense, that you are a true servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes, if a person is serving a certain personality, he is a servant of so-and-so, he's working in the office of the president, for example. He finds pride in that he is working in this great office. If he becomes personal assistant of the president, wow, he feels like he's above everybody. He's like the president himself. Here, Imam is asking us, he's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cause me to be your true servant. Someone that unreservedly submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't question why this, why that, and why have you made this and that. I've fully submitted myself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I worship him, fully. I humble myself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fully. There's no separation between all my actions. And even if a person does all that, does he reach to the maqam of al-ubudiyyah? Can anyone say that I've fulfilled the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by my prayers, by performing all the prayers, fasting, if I do everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do I still reach to the level of ubudiyya, true ubudiyya? That I've really become the true servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Anbiya always felt that they have not achieved that level. مَا عَبَدْنَاكَ حَقًّا مَا عَرِفْنَاكَ. We have not known you the true knowledge. We have not worshipped you the true worshipping. مَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. That to reach that level. But still, even if I reach to that highest level of ibadah, do not destroy my ibadah. لا تفسد ولا تفسد عبادتي بالعجب. Second thing, don't destroy my ibadah by ujub. So what is ujub? Sometimes when you feel like you have made some progress in your life, in spiritual life, you are doing, alhamdulillah, several ibadat, you are standing up at night, performing all the mustahabat, you are praying on time, giving sadaqah here and there. You feel like your life is all ibadah. This is possible to cause you to feel some sense of pride in you, to feel some sense of satisfaction, to be able to admire yourself. You know, you can look at yourself as mashallah. Though nobody is clapping for you, but you can clap for yourself. Wow, I've done it. You know, I'm a true worshipper. So you get some sense of ujub, admiration. Imam says, is pointing to this fact, that this may destroy your ibadah. If sad, so it does not give you reward when you start feeling that my prayer is top class. I'm performing the prayer in the best manner. Ujub. Okay, that's al-ujub. Inside yourself, you're not showing anybody. Because if you do the riyah, if anybody engaged in riyah in his ibadah, then his ibadah becomes batil. If you pray, for example, to show off, that prayer you need to repeat it. Because you cannot go tomorrow to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the reward of it. What did you do? You did it not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You did it for someone else. So you cannot claim anything from Allah. You did for someone else. That's riyah. So riyah yubtil al-ibadah. But al-ujub may not cause the ibadah to be batil. It's not batil. Still, you are considered to have performed your duty. So there is difference between performing your duty and being accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have done your duty, but is it accepted? That is something else. If it's accepted, it means that it raises your status. It means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes it from you and causes to be the means of your elevation. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes we just perform, we have done our part of duty. But it doesn't cause any elevation. It doesn't take us any further. So Imam says that cause me not to destroy my ibadah by admiring it, by being pleased with it. Say I will find some shortcoming in it. Because al-ujub, as Amir Mina salawatullah salamu alayhi says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, al-ujubu yamna' min al-izdiyad. Ujub does not just destroy the value of ibadah, it destroys everything. It spoils everything. If a scholar reaches to a point whereby he feels that he has reached the maximum, the top of knowledge, he will not increase his knowledge. Because he feels that he has achieved everything. A worker, a businessman, whatever, when you get to self-satisfaction and you admire what you have done, it means that you have reached the end of it. Ujub. So if you see your ibadah to be perfect and complete, you'll stop improving on it. And that is the alpha, this is the defect in the ibadah. So he's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I should not be afflicted with this. One instant, Imam Al-Baqir salawatullah salamu alayhi. Ended in the place of ibadah of his father, Imam Zainul Abidin al-Islam, and looked at him. And he saw a scene that he could not control himself but cry. No, he saw how pale his father has become. No, how his eyes has gone back, and he's frail and he's weak, and he's seeing Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam had all these signs of ibadah on him. And This is an imam looking at the imam, and he is crying because of what he's saying. Like, my father has gone to this level. He is totally absorbed in ibadah. So imam looks at him and tells him, my son, bring me some of those books. So he gives him one of the books that in it there's record of the ibadah of Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam. He cannot help himself to read it to the end. And he says this sentence, who can afford to perform the ibadah of Amirul Mu'minin? That is Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. Now, we look at our situation, whatever we do. Sometimes, if we are given tawfiq to perform Salatul Layl, it becomes something we can talk about all the time. The Imam looks at this and says, what can we do to afford the ibadah of Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam? This is it that we learn from this dua. And very quickly I will want to comment, to try and read this line with you again. وَأَجْرِ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى يَدَيَّ الْخَيْرِ على يدي الخير أو يدي الخير, both of them have been narrated. وَلَا تَمْحَقْهُ بِالْمَنِ. If you look in this dua, Imam is pointing to the defects that can be found in our actions. And very important for us. So he says, وَأَجْرِ لِلنَّاسِ. وَأَجْرِ لِلنَّاسِ. Ajr is make it flow. Make it pass by me. وَأَجْرِ لِلنَّاسِ. So cause the good, al-khair is good, anything good. Not necessarily wealth, not necessarily anything material. It can be anything of good, knowledge, and a benefit. Cause every benefit, and a benefit to pass through me for the people. Linas. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims. They say linas. Because Islam wants good for every person. Al-khair li kulli nas. So he says, let good pass by my hands. Let people benefit from me. وَلَا تَمْحَقْهُ بِالْمَانِ. But, oh Allah, I ask you that you do not destroy this good that has come from me, this benefit that has reached people from me. Do not destroy it by man. Man, what is man? Is to mention the good, is to feel great, is to feel that what you have given is a favor. So that is al-man. So al-man sometimes is a person does something good to another and he talks about it. In a good or bad way, whatever it is. He mentions, I'm the one who did this, that I am the one who helped him in this. I am the one to give this. Okay? That is al-man. And al-man destroys the good that you have done. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى. Do not spoil, do not destroy your sadaqat, your charity, whatever good you have done, by mentioning about it. By talking about it, whether directly to the person or to other people. Bil-manni wal-adha. And there's a story that is narrated in this line, which I can't afford to read it because it's a bit long. And sometimes we destroy the goodness through this. You look at it and you find your hands to be empty sometimes. Like all that you have given, the efforts that you have done, the benefits you have given is gone. Mahq. Mahq is that it is erased. So there is no record in your book. You have done so many things, but because you do mention about it, you want people to praise you about it, that you just consider it to be a favor, it destroys it. So Imam says, let good pass my hands to other people. Let people benefit from it. But oh Allah, do not destroy it by mentioning about it. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us tawfiq to learn from this dua and to practice this dua. I've recited a few lines. Look at our ibadat. Look at our doing of charity and goodness. Look at our admiration for izzah. Let us pay attention to that. We should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He protects us from al-kibr, from ujub, and from al-man. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ghfir lana warhamna wa fiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. Once again, I do remind myself and all of you to obtain taqwa and to maintain it, to try and save ourselves and save our families, save our children, try to guide them to Islam, let them practice the noble traits of Islam. Train our families to embrace ibadah. It's our responsibility to try and bring up a generation of people who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who submit themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has to start with us. We have a responsibility. The parents, fathers and mothers, they have a responsibility of creating that environment. It's not up to the children to choose what they want. We have to show them the path, practically. And this is why I would appeal to all of you to make an effort to train the young ones participate in ibadah in the masjid, to come to the mosque. By you coming with them, trying to push them so that they come and participate in ibadah in the mosque. We can't just let them and say, decide to go. We have many of our children who come to Jeffrey, for example, but did not pay attention to Jama'at prayers, to praying in the mosque. This is our responsibility, not of the Jama'at, not of the management, but of the parents, of every person. We should try and make an effort so that we save ourselves, because we'll be answered, we'll be asked, and we have to answer, and so that we save them. Qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Save yourselves and your families from the hellfire. وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. The firewood of it is the people and the stones. عَلَيْهَا مَلَائِكَةٌ غِلَاظٌ شِدَادٌ. In one riwayah which ends with it, Imam is telling us Shias, tell my Shias, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, that we do not have any closeness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't have any, we are not relatives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what saves us is our amal, our deeds. So we have to inculcate this into ourselves, into our families. We have to make an effort. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us tawfiq and to bestow His mercy on us. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin abdika wa rasulik. Wa salli ala aliyin amir al-mu'minin.